Skeeter. Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Dirt Grease Outdoor Peace. So I'm up at the property that I maintain, and we got a load of trusses yesterday, and oh man, I wish I would have recorded that. I need to get one of them straps so I can just wear the camera. You never know when stuff's just gonna turn sideways on you, and looked like it was gonna be kind of straightforward, and it went south. And the day was already bad, and then he got stuck, and then I said, how could it get any worse? Anytime you say how could it possibly get any worse, it can always get worse, so be careful what you say. He had a special roller trailer for the trusses, and it was a semi, and he's trying to back down this driveway, which I was trying to tell him he had room down there by the pond where he could pull in and then back around, but he didn't want to do that, so he was trying to back in, and I'll show you up here where he got stuck. So I hooked onto him with my 1 ton, and I said I'm just gonna put it in 4 low, and I'm just gonna lean on it, and I'm just gonna put nice pressure on it, so just give you something to pull on you a little bit. And it pulled him out, and I was impressed. And he said, I don't think I've ever seen a pickup truck pull a semi out before. And I should have taken a picture of how bad he was stuck. That thing, he had mud all the way up to the middle of his front wheels, and it was just stuck all over the side of the truck. So then I talked to the owner, and I said, we got to do a little improvement with this driveway. We have all these small trees that are growing on the side of the driveway, and you can see how crowded it is. Not only that, but this has been a wet year so far, and it's just keeping a lot of moisture here along the driveway. So I want to clear these back, open that up, and then get some more material. And the guy I was working with was getting me, he calls it DSA, driveway surface aggregate, and it's got everything from like powder to small crushed stone to like a bigger 1 or 2 inch stone in it, and the stuff packs like concrete. It's kind of like a crusher run, but it's more of a stone based. It's not the sandy gravel base, and the stuff packs. The only thing bad about it is that it's because of the mix of size in it, it's really hard to grade it out with a bucket. If you go to back drag it, it gets real uneven. But other than that, stuff packs great. So this side over here that I've got staked is it gets real soft, and you can see it's still wet right here. It poured yesterday. So what I'd probably do is take the excavator and try to dig that wet stuff out of there, get down to a decent material, and then fill some of that in, and then I can pull the stakes out of there so it looks a little better. So I'll clear these trees. This area here is nice and wide. Now this, it doesn't, I mean, it looks like a trail in the woods, but this, I'm sure when they built this, it's dug out down to clay, and it starts off with oversized, and then it's like 2 and 3s, and then it's number 1s, and then just this past spring, the guy brought in this small stone just to kind of smooth out the top. And this side I gotta do the same thing. Cut this mucky mud out of there. open that up. I might try to maybe thin out a few trees in here. You can see the sun kind of behind those trees there. Maybe thin out a few trees in here to get some more daylight in here. This side is good. We got a lot of good material over here. I got a dead ash I got to take down right there. That's a big old tulip poplar there. Them things grow big and straight here. And then, yeah, that beech is pretty bad looking. I'll probably get that beech out of there. And yeah, now that I look at it, this beech, this big beech right here, is half rotten, and it's all funky up there. So probably get that out of there. That'll be some good firewood, and that will give that nice maple some more nutrients and sunlight, and open this up, hopefully dry this out a little bit. So this is where he got stuck, obviously. It is just, I almost buried the backhoe in here a couple of years ago. Well, I don't know what is in here. There's just no base here, I guess. And I mean, it just seems like you could just sink out of sight in here. Which, I mean, you can see how far he sank in there. I still can't believe I was able to pull him out of there. The only thing that saved him was we only had to go a little bit, and then he got up. You could see his duals were up on the ground here. So this this beech right here is dead too, and another dead one there. I think what I'm gonna do is dig all this out and then see if I can, it looks like I've got enough fall where I can dig out and kind of daylight something out over there. And being that I'm gonna be so deep here, I'm gonna pull that way back in. I'm probably gonna put a pipe in there, and I'm gonna dig it way down in the woods there, probably quite a ways down there. There's another giant tulip poplar. So I'm gonna try not to get into the roots on that one, but try to figure out which way I can go to. It does kind of fall off back there. Maybe I can not go too far and daylight that out. It's always wet right there. So this one, being that I'm gonna do that, this tree here I'm gonna dig out and push over. So I'll do the pipe, I'll do stone, and then I might do fabric and that DSA or some kind of crusher run on top of it, and get this widened up around this corner. And I think we're going to take out these three trees on the very outside of this corner and just leave that maple in there. So open this up nice here. This has already got, when I was cleaning this road up a couple years ago, I put a bunch of the stone and stuff I was cleaning up over here, so this is plenty wide. I've also been coming up through here with the excavator, reaching up and breaking these branches off. And so down here you can see this looked exactly like that first place that I showed you. It was like this, but probably worse because the trees were bigger. So I just cleared all this. It's all tulip poplars, and I hate to, my dad and I really like tulip poplars, but they grow like weeds up here because of these big mature ones that are making the seeds. There's actually another, I guess you'd call it like a popple forest over there. It's just nothing but small tulip poplars, and the deer, even this section right here is all little tulip poplars, and the deer are just feasting on that. So these trees aren't going to go to waste tonight. I would bet that if I had a camera with me, I would set it up. The deer are going to just destroy these trees tonight and just eat them right down to nothing. So I just need to, now that I got all these trees out of here, I can kind of blade this off a little bit. But these trees were right, right on the edge of the driveway, so you can see, I was actually hitting some of the base down there, the bigger, bonier rock that's down there. But I mean, you can see what a difference that's going to make. And it just makes the driveway so much better. I mean, look at the view now. Pulling in here, you can actually enjoy the woods a little bit more. So I'll probably come down here and grab this stuff and bunch it up and bring it over in the woods. I'll just take out the few that are left here, and I can clean that up. Obviously I got to do this other side. And these, I'd like to try to dig these and just get the whole stump and everything out, but I don't want to get into the roots of this other one. I pushed on this hemlock a little bit, and that one seems like it's going to go. But I think I'm just going to scratch some of this gravel out of here and try to break some roots, and try to push these over too, so I can just get the stump and all. So I just wanted to make sure I got the camera out and video some of this. I've been terrible lately about being busy and just not bothering to film anything, and by the time I get part way into it, I'm just regretting that I didn't film anything. Part of that is me being so indecisive about everything. I have a hard time of committing to doing the job and how I'm gonna do the job. A lot of times I have the analysis paralysis, where I just keep thinking about and analyzing how I'm gonna do stuff, and I just put it off. Once I get into the job, I love doing it, and I wish it would film. So I'm just gonna try to get in the habit of, when I do something like this, I'm just gonna try to film, and part of that is having my equipment ready too. So I think I've said that before. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, I'll probably set you guys up on time lapse and clear this section here and just see how it goes. We gotta talk to the guy with the dump truck and see if he's gonna be able to haul material. I think he had some engine trouble, so we'll see what he's got going. So yeah, I appreciate you watching. Make sure you go down there and hit that like and subscribe for me. Share the video if you can, and just, it only takes a second to go down there and hit the like button for me. Hit subscribe so you can follow along with the channel, and we're almost getting monetized. We're just a few subscribers away from being monetized. So if you would do that for me, if you would subscribe for me, I would really appreciate it. And yeah, get going on this and see what kind of transformation we can do here. Thanks. That is a little better. I'm gonna run out of battery, but we'll keep going. We're back here on this driveway job trying to open things up. So before I go after some of these trees, I'm gonna finish clearing this other side, and then I'll bunch up this these other trees that I cleared yesterday, and then I'll carry them off in the woods and pile them up. that tedious. I just try to scratch it all out. Shake the dirt and stones out. Try to sift back through it a little bit. So I'm gonna try to dig out this big beech down here. It looks like it's been dead for a while, so hopefully the roots will break out of there and I can get that over. And yeah, see the water accumulating in here. This area, this section right here has been real bad, and these trucks try to come through here and sweep around this corner, and you get off just a little bit and you kind of sink out of sight. So we'll get that one down, and then I think I'm going to take down the ones right on the corner there. Just open that up a little bit more. I was trying to be careful. I knew that top would be kind of fragile, but I just got lucky that it went the other way. But I'll have to, it's Saturday afternoon right now, and it's getting in the upper 80s. It's supposed to go somewhere later on. So I'll probably wait until next week and I'll cut that stump off of there. I might be able to get some firewood from that. I'll have to see how good that is in there, and then I can try to haul that stump off in the woods somewhere and kind of tuck it in somewhere. So I guess I'll try, I'm gonna go for these 2 hemlocks first. This one's kind of got a goofy top on it anyways. So I'll try to dig out here in the driveway a little bit. And then I'll go over, probably get that small one, and then go for this maple right here. And then later this summer, over by the pond, there's, oh my god, there's probably a dozen trees over there that I have to cut. And they said I could have all the firewood poles and all that, so yeah, I'll have all the wood, so I'll be hauling that stuff out of here. Come up with an empty trailer and go home with a load of logs. So yeah, we'll see how this one goes. I'm gonna try not to get into the roots of that other maple. Just see these, at least these 2 pines, they should be shallow roots, so we'll see. Let me put this up here so I don't forget it. Destroy it. Maybe. we had to get the road cleared up, the property owner showed up. Gonna have to run over. I just talked to them about what I was going to do here, and tried to describe to them what I have done. Glad that they're coming up to enjoy the property here. A bit buggy this morning, but it's pretty nice. It was only like 55 this morning. Man, did that feel good for a change. It's been in the 80s. So I cleaned up this small beach that I cut so she could get through. Grab these logs here. Then I'll show you that big beach. It was standing there dead, but boy, the log is great condition. It's going to be great firewood. Pine trees. I'm just going to track them back in the woods there, where I've just been stacking up my firewood poles here. Probably should down a little bit. Get them out of the way. Now I gotta get in there. Hopefully this view is okay. A little bit different cab than my dad's excavator. I'll put the camera up further so you guys can hear me a little better. Oh yeah. Solid. Boy, those beach can look funky on the outside, but man, that stuff is solid. Look at that. If you can see the stump. That stuff is really solid inside. That one doesn't look that great on the outside, but that thing is really solid. hiding spot in here. With all the little critters, something to play in. So before I was thinking that I was going to dig through the woods here and try to run a pipe out of this section just to drain all the excess water. But I don't want to dig up the roots on all these trees. There's a big tulip poplar there and maple there. And I'd have to go a long ways to get fall. I'd have to go, oh, probably another 60, 70 feet back there to get fall, because right here I would have to dig it down probably almost 2 feet just to get to the bottom of all this muck and then fill it with stone. So right now the plan is I'm gonna clear all these small trees out of here. And then I think right here where the sun is shining, I'm gonna dig down to see if there's good clay there. I'm gonna stay away from that tulip poplar, kind of right out in that, yeah. Right in there. Yep, that's about all I can do for description today. Brain power is at a minimum. So I think what I'm gonna do is make sure I got good clay, dig a borrow pit there, stack up the material here, dig all this junk out, bring it down this way, and eventually once I know I got enough material from the borrow pit, I fill the borrow pit back in with this stuff, which there's going to be some of this stone, there's going to be some clay material, but there's going to be a lot of mucky crap. So I'll just try to bring in good clay and put it in lifts and pack it in as good as I can and try to fill that in as much as I can, and then put some of that good DSA gravel mixture on top. Make this nice and wide. I'll probably take out that small cherry right there, maybe thin those pine trees back there too, just to get some more daylight in here. But and then probably down towards the end, from the excavator, I'll probably kind of dig a little swale down there and still have an area where the water can get through there, but I don't want to be digging 2 feet deep around all those tree roots there. So I think that's gonna do it for, yeah, I know that that's gonna do it for this part of the video. I don't know why I said it like that, but it's gonna do it for this part of the video. Gonna try to do my best to put this footage together, and today's Saturday. I would like to try to get it out tomorrow. I don't know, we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna try not to mess around with too much editing, just get the clips together and get it out, and keep it rolling. We are almost at 1,000 subscribers today. Well, as of right now, we are 3 subscribers short of 1,000 subscribers. So I would really appreciate it if you would support my channel. Go down and hit that like, subscribe button. Share the video with your friends or those that enjoy the outdoors and doing this kind of work. And most of all, I appreciate you watching, especially those that watch to the end. And stay tuned for the next part of this video. I'd like to say part 2, but you never know. With me and with jobs like this, there could be several parts. So pretty happy with everything that we've done so far here. It's more than I was expecting, of course, just like every other job I do, but it is going to be a huge improvement. If I can go back to the beginning and show you a clip of what this looked like versus what it looks like now. Look at that, you can see that pond down there. Nice, really nice. And you can see into the woods more from the driveway, so it's kind of, you can enjoy everything a little bit more as you're pulling in. Maybe I got to pick up branches there, maybe clear that a little bit. So yeah, definitely appreciate everybody watching. I appreciate the subscribers that have been with me all this time. Don't forget, if you want to go over and subscribe to the what's it called? DGOP Garage, like Dirt Grease Outdoor Peace Garage. If you haven't subscribed to that channel, consider that. That's where most of the mechanical stuff, the car stuff, the Harley stuff is going to be over on that channel from now on. So if you want to take a second, go over and subscribe to that for me, I'd appreciate that. And we'll see you next time. Thank you.